it covers it all.
No, I think you should make it chaos conquistador.
I will
Because
consider
I
that.
tell you, that word chaos, because when people don't understand what I do, and then whether it's your business, like I said, or athletics or anything high performance, that word chaos don't you think it captures everything?
It does.
And I can put it in a words, put it in simple words and say, I take things from chaos to organized chaos to organization. And they go, oh, because then they can see the office
Yeah.
and they see, like you said, the dynamics of the people, because the operations is usually the things, don't you say, that we run into, where you're
Yeah.
like, are the people actually working as much as you think they're working?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And do they know where to go? And are they talking the same language to go to the same places to do what you're trying to
And
get
there's a lot of duplication. Like when I work with
done?
companies, there's a lot. I mean, we do an audit of all of the things they're using in tools and apps and even just job
Mm-hmm.
duties. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of duplication. People are spending a lot of time on things they don't
Yeah.
have to.
Now I had a question, KT, as far as
Mhm.
have you over these years, we've known each other, like I said, 15 years. Have you crafted your own system and methodology?
Mhm.
Because I know you're just like I am in that respect. You love systems, and that to me is, right. We could tell the listeners that systems is usually the differentiator, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a system? Are you using pre-existing methodologies, like you said,
But
CRMs? Are you
but
using
both.
Carnegie
So
Mellon?
I
Uh-huh.
Yes, both.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
in my certification is
Right.
with Productive Environment Institute.
Mm-hmm.
They teach and use with their own clients as well, a 9 step
Okay.
system that takes you, like, you start with assessing and, you go all the way through until you get to that organized.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took their 9 steps
Okay.
and
Okay.
I incorporated that internal clutter
Mm-hmm.
component.
Okay.
So, and also, I also incorporated, because my background in education, I really look at learning styles. So, are you a
Mm-hmm.
visual person, auditory, kinesthetic? Because people think like, oh, I can't get organized. I can't do this. I'm never going to figure out how to,
Right.
do
Right.
X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And it's probably because you're trying to use a system that was made for a different type of brain.
Different type of
I mean,
learner. Right.
honestly.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so I take my clients through this 9 step
Mm-hmm.
journey,
Mm-hmm.
but every step of the way, we look at their physical stuff that's going on
Mm-hmm.
and the internal. So I've combined it. And then I also came up with just a quick overall framework that I use called the 4 F's, because I
Oh,
trademarked
okay.
the frustration to freedom
Okay.
process. And so I use 4 F's. So it's feel, fact find, formulate, and follow through.
Did you
And
just cuss me out?
yeah.
Okay, say those
So
again.
it's feel. So before you start anything, it's
Right.
you need to know how you want to feel.
Okay.
What's your vision? How do you want to feel in your home, in your office, in your
Okay.
work day, in your
Gotcha.
relation? Like, how do you want to feel? And you need to have a vision of how to get there, because we think that the action steps, like, people want to jump right to the action
Mm-hmm.
steps. Well, tell me what
Mm-hmm.
to do.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have, like, some people call it a why, if you don't know your why, or if you don't know
That's
your
that TED
vision, or
stuff, right? Yeah.
yeah, like, how do you want to feel when it's
Yeah.
done? That then you're not going to have the fuel to accomplish it.
Right.
So we start with
Right.
feel, then fact find is the second one. So in my
Fact
viewpoint,
find.
fact finding is, what learning style are you? I have people fill out a scorecard to find out their
Wow.
productivity score.
Okay.
What type of organizing style do you have?
Mm-hmm.
What obstacles do you have? What resources do you have at your disposal that maybe you haven't thought of? So
Okay.
I guide them through that. So fact
Mm-hmm.
find. Then the part that everyone thinks we start with, formulate. That's where we come up with the plan. Okay, we're going to do
Okay.
this,
Right.
these are the steps.
Mhm.
And then follow through, because that's the part a lot of people leave off. And in order to have long-term success, whether it's with a file system for your company
Right.
or keeping your garage organized, like it doesn't matter. In order to have long-term success, you need to
Right.
have accountability and you need to have maintenance.
Mhm.
So I work with my clients from the very beginning on what's your accountability? Do you have a partner? Do you have a coworker? Do you have a friend? A lot of people use me as their accountability buddy. And
Mhm.
what's your maintenance plan? How often are you
Mhm.
going to come back and address this? So that's my system,
Okay.
so to speak, my
Okay.
4 Fs.
Yeah. No, because it's so funny. Yeah, I was doing the same thing where most of my systems are based on because of the technology background. Because a lot of things that it's anything operational, right? You-
Mhm.
You've got those elements. You plan to work and work the plan, right?
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah, I like
And
that.
so I love, the I guess customizing
Mhm.
agile, methodologies, since, we use that for the TEDs and I use it for
Mhm.
most things because it keeps it, nice and
Yeah, because there
concise
are
and
definitely things that work. I mean, there are 6 things that every productive office needs to have. I could rattle off. There's definite systems that work,
uh-huh.
but they're not going to work if they're not tailored to you. They're
Right,
just not.
right.
You're going to bang your head against the wall forever.
Now, so those who are trying to start their business, trying to, take that note right now and say, okay, what exactly can I grasp? So do you personally sell your system to differentiate yourself from, potential competitors or whatever you want to call
Yes.
them, others in the business?
Yes. So
Uh-huh.
I have some, I'm hesitating because I've recently decided that
Okay.
I truly want to work like with the people, because I
Mhm.
thought, okay, the future is in creating a course and having online and I have that
Right, right.
and I can sell people that,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not, I don't know. I prefer these days to have that information, give them that information, but then also do that coaching part of it, like
Right,
guide them through some of the
right,
steps and check in and
right.
um
So you know what I gotta ask you, because everyone's gonna ask
what's
me to ask you. The 2 letters that have been worn out over the last 18 months. So do you have artificial intelligence in mind, in integration, or do you even
no,
see that?
I'm slow
Uh-huh.
to that party. I'm late to
Right.
that party.
Yeah.
I actually just have a colleague who sent me something and said, this is like what she uses. It's a different, I don't even remember the name of
Right.
it. And she said that she can come up with things for her clients using
Mm-hmm.
this.
Mm-hmm.
I, I, I'm just going to be honest and admit I have not. I've not used any AI tools in coming up with
Mm-hmm.
a plan for my clients as of yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
I'm not
mean,
opposed to
it's
it.
still early. I
Yeah.
mean, people think like it's so funny to me, KT. Like, this right here. Now, I'll try 5 different phone numbers. So I'm not texting. And 60% of the time, it's not happening. So everybody kind of relax. Is AI going around the corner where it's driving our car next week?
Yeah.
I can't even get this dude here to pull up the number that might be in the cloud. And it's got AI capabilities to do that. It's going to take longer than everyone thinks. It's here, but it's more still back in the weeds. And yes, Chat GPT 4 and all those things. I've told my staff, look, in order to make us more efficient, and if we want to cut out iterations and steps, you know, to get to our final results,
Yeah.
feel free, go ahead and you make it as your assistant. It
Yeah.
doesn't.
And I'm not opposed because I've long said
Yeah.
that I'm much better at editing
Right.
than coming up with something off the cuff, just like sitting down and
Right,
writing.
right,
So I like it from that
right.
perspective, sort of like when I had an intern and I would say, well, I want to write something about this or have something. And if I got something from her,
Right.
even if it was rough, it
Right.
was 1,000 times easier for me to take it and make it what I
Oh,
wanted it to
absolutely.
be.
When you were my
So
admin,
yeah. So I like AI for that.
I had blood over everything. You read it, red pen between you and Ann, cutting up information. You were the one to call. This woman here was the one to call, and we've
I
got a
forgot about that.
team
I
of
have
100.
edited a lot of your stuff.
Oh my goodness. And it's 11:30, and I'm like, hey, KT,
Oh my
you,
God.
you got this.
That's funny. I walked into that because I forgot about that.
Oh, that's some PTS right there. And it's midnight and it's 11:59. You still got 10 rising stars that still need to be registered. So KT's right there, right there. 12:01, everything's done. You were
Yeah.
fantastic.
Ooh.
Okay, so let's
Memories.
talk about, okay, so now it's TED time. So for those
Yeah.
who don't know, we had a relationship, which to me, this is my recollection. You're looking at me like I'm crazy at the time. And I was like, hey, because I didn't know what you were doing as far as conquer the chaos or organize
Mhm.
homes. And I knew you as a strong mother, raising kids, the hardest job in the world. I'm not going to say housewife. We call it home organizer instead of organized homes.
Home manager.
Home manager. You were the home manager. And I said, hey, you know what? I said, KT, I need a TED talk because
I
is that
remember what you said.
what
You
happened?
said,
Because
you
yeah,
said,
once
I don't
again,
know what it is, and I'm not sure exactly what you do with your business.
right?
And this is what you said, but I know you have a message.
I do
I,
remember
I
that.
just got
Right.
chills. I will never forget that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I said, I think you got a message
Mhm.
that everybody in the country and the world needs to hear, and I think this is that moment.
Yeah.
I said, let's follow through and see what happens. Now, where? So, Kerry did the TED Talk. It was a big hit. You were in the first show of 10,
Very first one.
first one
Mhm.
of 10.
In
Yeah,
Ashburn, not first.
that's when we had a tornado and a
There was.
hurricane, and
I
everybody
was
had to
so
go to.
nervous. I
Yeah.
don't know if you remember, but so I was the last
Oh, you
addition
were the
to
last one.
to the lineup. And I was like, I hadn't really had to audition. I don't know. I just got added in. So
Don't tell them that. Now, see, you
people were
getting me
already a
in
little
trouble.
skeptical of me.
I no,
And
I had already put you in. Yeah.
when we had the run through the night before, because
Mhm.
I like to speak and I've taught and
Right.
I've spoken in front of thousands of people,
Hmm.
and something happened that's never happened to me
What's
before.
that?
When we did the run through the night before, I got up there and I said the first line, and that was it. It was blank. My mind, everything was blank. And so everyone was looking at me. And then I made a joke and then I kept going. And so
Relax.
I know people thought, oh, she can't do this. She's not going to pull this off.
I never
And so
thought
the
that.
morning of the event, I was a little bit nervous,
Hmm.
and well, a lot nervous.
Hmm.
And then we had the tornado and they sent everybody into
Yeah,
the
we're in the
basement,
basement.
and people wanted to chit chat because, you're
Yeah.
in tornado, like how it's not common. And I could not chit chat because it was
Had
all going to go
locked
out of
in.
my brain.
You
So
locked it
I
in.
locked myself in a bathroom stall until the tornado was
Locked
over.
it in the brain. Like, don't talk to me. No, you
But
blew it away.
it was the greatest. I finished my talk, and then when I went back, my friend Stephanie was there, and the very first thing I said was, I want to go again. Like, that was awesome.
You got hooked. Got
Yeah,
hooked.
I did.
Now, okay, I haven't looked, and I wanted to do that on purpose. Where's your number at now as far as how many people have
I haven't
viewed?
looked in a while either. I
I
know
remember when you passed a million.
it
So
passed 1 million last
after that,
year.
you're like, whatever, who cares? A
Yeah,
million,
honestly,
who
I don't
cares?
know. I don't know. It
Yeah,
goes in little spurts.
yeah.
Someone will find it and it'll show up in an
Mhm,
article or an
mhm,
online thing. Someone
mhm.
will talk about it and then I'll have a peek and then it'll go
But it's
back down.
definitely helped you know, as far as the branding and
Oh, yeah, and I
Yeah,
still
yeah.
have, because that was 2017, so, 6.5 years ago now. And I still have probably about, averages about 4 people a month that I'll have one of my scorecards that's on my website,
Mhm,
just, show up in my email,
mhm.
and it'll say, how did you find me? And it'll say TEDx.
Oh, wow.
Still, 6.5 years
Wow.
later.